gotta work on my handles, I got two of the best point guards in the history of the game. I gotta be ready. Welcome into Certified Unscripted, everybody. I am Vera Jones. My handles weren't that bad, actually. This is episode 2, and this is the place you come when you want real topics, raw opinions, and respected voices in women's hoops. We hope you enjoyed episode 1. If for whatever reason you're just joining us and you didn't get a chance to catch Certified Unscripted episode 1, we've gotten tremendous feedback, and we appreciate that. You can visit us. You can always go to YouTube, our YouTube channel, which has Certified Unscripted, or you can go to certifiedunscripted.com. It's been a long day, sorry. And you can check us out there. So tonight, in our very first episode, we had an opportunity to jump right in, and we kind of gave these long introductions. Today, I just want to quickly introduce our all-star power panel. We're being stood up by one of our ladies tonight, but I will jump right in and share with you. With us is Penny Toler. Penny, welcome. She's the former executive vice president, general manager of the 3-time WNBA champion Los Angeles Sparks. She's been was a part of the organization for 23 years, player, executive coach, general manager. Sometimes she cleaned the locker room. She did everything, right? Exactly. She was down for it all. Penny, welcome back to the show. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome. Can't wait to get started. We got some great topics tonight. I think everybody's going to love the show.
Yeah, I think so too. And because joining us is an Olympic gold medalist, NCAA national champion. She was part of the inaugural WNBA draft, a New York Liberty guard. Everyone knows her as Teaspoon. You can find her in your kitchen, she says. 2010 Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, 2019 Naismith Hall of Fame. Welcome to the show, Spoon. How are you?
I told you, you can find me. Go look in the kitchen. Check it out. Go check it out. I'm glad
everybody's got a teaspoon in the kitchen.
That's right, baby. Check it out.
We're coming off of an incredible week. So many things happened this week or this weekend. So let's start with just a little piece of history. A brand new, on June 17th, Juneteenth was signed into law as a federal holiday on June 19th. Celebration of freedom. It represents the end of slavery for African Americans in the United States. Was signed as a national holiday by President Biden. For those of you who don't know, because I actually have talked to a couple of people who have said, and Black people who have said, I didn't even know it was, I don't know anything about Juneteenth. But the Emancipation Proclamation was signed on January 1st of 1863. But in Galveston, Texas, they didn't get the memo. There was no internet, so they didn't get the memo that the slaves were free until June 19th of 1865, a year and a half of slavery, technically, illegally, that continued to exist in this country. And so in Texas, they've actually been celebrating Juneteenth since 1980, but the rest of the nation just caught up. This whole idea of freedom, it has allowed us as women, as Blacks, to have many advantages. And yet still, there are so many things that still need to be done. How do you see this whole Juneteenth holiday? There's been a lot of sides to this back and forth. Quick thoughts, Penny.
I think it's obviously long overdue. I think it's great. But the addition to that, not to go away from Juneteenth, because I think, like I said, it's long overdue. I think it's awesome that everybody knows the history of slavery, when it ended, even though, like you said, it ended almost a year and a half, almost 2 years later. The thing that I would like, once I heard it was going into law, that would be nice is now that we're finally recognizing that everyone needs to be included, I would, if I had a child, I would want my child to learn about this in school. For years, we take American history and, Black history has been excluded from that, where I think to really nail this home, we need to have either kids can choose, or 1 year you learn regular history, and then those who would like to learn Black history should have the opportunity to learn Black history. And I don't think that's just going to be Black people, African American people. I think whites, Asian, everybody wants to know the history of everyone. So my opinion is I think it's needed, but I think that's great to have a holiday, but it would be even more awesome if we could learn about our history now, the real history of all people in school, starting at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Spoon, your thoughts?
Well, Penny just nailed it. She nailed it on the head when you talk about understanding the history. Everybody needs to understand what slavery was all about. You need to know exactly what our people went through, why they went through it, and why we feel sometimes the way that we do. I think it's valuable. And then when you start to study, understand, and learn, you will understand why certain things are said and done, or how we feel. You will start to get it. And I think that's the most important thing, is understanding, comprehending what life was. And to have this type of freedom, it's excellent. It's excellent to know that we're free. Do you see why we celebrate with prayer, dance, song, feasting? Because this was excellent for us. But everyone needs to know, especially starting in our schools, starting with our young people, Black, white, Indian, doesn't matter who you are, understand the history of all people, because there is history of all people.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things you said regular history, Penny. What gets me is like, that is regular history, right? It's just the history that got totally left out. Yes. It's the history that got whitewashed away, and we're not going to talk about that, and we're just going to move forward. And what it has done is I think, to your point, it has pulled away from just how far we've come. If nothing else, right, to fully understand how detrimental that has been and continues to be in a cycle in a lot of ways in the Black in the lives of Black people or persons of color in general. But then again, to look at some of the advancements, it does stand to reason that we want to continue to teach, because if we forget the history, then we're never going to move forward. We're never going to, everyone keeps saying, oh, let's just forget it so we can move forward. It's like, no, let's make sure that we understand it so we don't go backwards. Mm-hmm. That's the way that I see it. That's my thought on it.
And I'm sorry. Yeah. And I would say, and a larger component of that is just like what Spoon say, when you know the history and you understand it, and that's where your empathy comes in, and people compassion when they understand something. When you know something, you can have compassion for it. You can have empathy for it. You can, rationalize some things that, may be offensive versus not offensive. But when you don't talk about it at all, no one knows, Sure. This is why when you teach it at a young age, people will grow up knowing it. They, grow up with that consideration, that empathy, that compassion, because you've been taught it. But if you've never been taught or read it or don't know anything, how can you have compassion and empathy for something that you don't even know about?
Yeah.
I was in a conflict resolution conference today, just real quick off subject, but to that point, exactly. There was someone at the, I was doing a keynote, and later someone that spoke after me made this comment that, Penny, you're from DC. I mean, you grew up where I grew up. So we used to say this word. Spoon, you probably said it too. If someone, if somebody didn't give you back the right change, you would go, oh, you gypped me, right? Yeah. I did not know. Well, this gentleman, I felt so bad for him, made the mistake, I guess it was a mistake, and said, hey, because you don't want to buy this product, or, something like that, because you don't want to end up getting gypped, right? Did not know that is offensive, that gypsy, it comes from the word gypsy. I never actually even knew that. We would just say it. But again, had somebody taught me, when you say the word gyp, it represents gypsies from, I can't even remember the country. I'm sorry about that. Roma or something like that. Whatever it was, I had to go Google it and look it up. But to your point, just want to say, sometimes hiding or not talking about it is how you end up offending people, and people feel marginalized and threatened and all of those things. So moving past that, another piece of history. Well, we got the Olympics coming up, but we also have the 25th year of the WNBA. It just happened. And who was the very first person to score, the first person ever? You were actually featured in the middle of the game. Penny, You had the little short dude. You're about this big. You're about this big. Your head was like this big, dribbling the basketball, knocking down that sweet jumper from the corner. You remember the shot well?
And I also remember that body I had back then too. So
you were this big.
I was looking at that. I go, where did time go? I used to be like, oh my God, I just weigh 130. Now I'm like, I'm still saying the same thing, but I need to go down. Can I just weigh 130? So I was like, oh my God. So, it was a cool shot. You look at it, that typical, fake between the legs, pull up. Yeah, so it was nice. It's nice reminiscing. I had so many people reach out, and it's a great feeling. Something that happened 25 years ago that now when I look on it, I get, I wear it with a sense of pride. I love it because, like I said in some other interviews, it's a record that can never be broken.
Yeah.
Boom, did she shoot that shot over you? Because it was New York, LA.
It wasn't me.
I think it might have been Vicky.
It was me.
That head coach down and down.
I tell you, Vera, it was so much fun. It was electric. It was electric. When we got there, of course, you're in LA, you know how they do. You're looking around, you're like, dang, they ain't in here yet. Then all of a sudden, swarm of people were in there. Of course, nerves were going the night before, because I'm honest, I don't even know how much I slept. It wasn't very much. And I remember, didn't have all these cell phones and all this stuff. I remember coming down the stairs, getting ready to get on the bus. I remember this vividly. I stopped at a payphone, and I called home. Mm-hmm. Ma, we headed to the bus right now. We're on our way to the arena. We're excited. Of course, she gives me the encouraging words and proof. I can remember that like it happened yesterday. Get on the bus, and we were super silent. Super silent. We get there, all of a sudden we're pulling up at the Forum, and you're like, oh, no, this ain't happening.
I know.
It was the most amazing experience to come home and to play with that type of support. Because we were told when this league was formed, it won't last 5 years. It won't last 5 years. All the excitement is just because it's new. It's new. Mm-hmm. We had no idea what our thoughts were. We're coming home to play. We're about to turn this thing up. We ain't leaving no more. We ain't going overseas unless it's necessary, which of course is necessary for our ends to meet. But when we started, we knew this was bigger than us. We had to make sure this thing remained, regardless of what anyone said. We knew if we got the opportunity legitimately, this thing was going to last. And look at us. We're talking 25 years later.
25 years later. But here's the question. Why? Why has it survived?
Well, it survived because it was long overdue. The Americans, we've been the best in the world. It's an American game. We play it at a high level. Unfortunately, and let's just shoot it out there like it is. Unfortunately, our own country didn't even value women athletes. We had Title IX, but after you played in college, there was no way all of us should have been shipped overseas to continue our careers. Yeah. Now, it was awesome, and I got an awesome education, and I got to see the world for free with, bouncing that basketball. But America was way behind. They dropped the ball on the value of women's sports after college, and then once it became popular overseas, and I remember when I got the call that the WNBA was coming and it had the backing of the NBA, I knew it was going to be successful. And that's one thing I could say that a lot of people forget is, look at David Stern. He put his heart and soul into this thing, and he was going to make sure that it worked. Val Ackerman, Renee Brown, I can go all the way back to all these people. So for me, we were undervalued as athletes. We could barely get on television. And unfortunately, somebody had to pioneer this bus that's moving now. And we were the pioneers, like Spoon, people before us, Janice Lawrence, Lisa Ingram, great players that I say people would never get the opportunity to see that had game for days. And until they valued that we were athletes too, this is why it wasn't here. But once it came, not to be long-winded, I like when people say it's not going to be here. We here 25 years. We're going to be here 50 years. We ain't going nowhere now. It's on television now. A funny story is, just real quick to tell you, it was funny because when Lisa Leslie and I were on the Sparks team, and I had a great career in LA, but I was already 8 years in overseas when Lisa was graduating college. So they were catching the tail end of her on television. This is a true story. When I came back from overseas, the Sparks were having open trials for the rest of the team. When I went to go into the gym, the guy told me, "Excuse me, only players allowed in the gym." And Rhonda Whittingham was the GM there because, nobody knew what I looked like or anything.
Yeah.
She was running from across the store, across the table. No, that's Penny Toler. Let her in, let her in. But that goes to show you, we were before our time as far as television. That's crazy, isn't it? That was funny. And then I become the GM, the architect of 3 titles after that,
Right. Did you find that same security person be like, you don't have a job here now? So
no, actually we're real good friends, and he's Derek Fisher's bodyguard named Deron.
Is that right?
That is good. That is right. He started out as a security guard. From there to Staples, now he's still with Derek, and he and I still laugh about it. Yeah,
so are y'all friends now?
Only players allowed in here. I was like, oh, okay. That was my introduction to coming home to WNBA.
Hey, Penny's right though, because all we really had leaving college was if you could make an Olympic team. I mean, only 12 of the best got a chance to do that. You got too many women in America who are great and want to continue to play the game. And so to play overseas was like the best thing that ever happened for us. We had an opportunity to go and continue to play a game that we love. So I don't have anything positive things to say about playing overseas. Like Penny said, you got a chance to broaden your horizons by going overseas and understanding different cultures, different ways of living in life. And just by bouncing the basketball. And then all of a sudden, our Olympic team just goes and travels and plays their butts off, 96 Olympic team, and shows the world that we can play, that we can play the game in America. We don't have to travel overseas. We can play right here. These people will love what we do. And then all of a sudden, here comes the WNBA. Like Penny said, she named out some incredible names. David Stern, he put everything he could into this to trust and believe in us. And the NBA backing us, we knew it wasn't going to fail. There's no way possible that this was going to fail. This was a great opportunity for us. Because I can remember being we were in France. I was in France and waiting on the call to say where I would be going. And as soon as they said, you'll be headed to New York City, knowing that I was told I'll probably be in Houston because I'm a Texan. So they wanted to kind of keep people close to where they were from, so to build a fan base, They said New York City. I said, man, New York? Oh, what? New York is crazy. Look, I was ready to put that pen in the air and swim across to go sign my contract. We were ready to play at home. At home, we were so ready to get home and play.
Yeah.
Nothing but great things to say about being overseas because it kept us prepared to be ready to play the WNBA.
You mentioned something very important for women. It's either you're going overseas, you can become a broadcaster, and you couldn't even do that, right? I'd fight to make that happen. Or the biggest dream was the Olympics. So we were talking about the history. We've been talking about what happened this week alone, and we made history again because just yesterday they announced the Olympic team. Now get this, the 2020 Olympic team that will be now playing in 2021. So that alone makes history. Let's take a quick look at what that looks like. If you look at the Olympics here, the team, Ariel Atkins, I don't know, can you guys see that okay?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can blow it up here because I don't, they made me a broadcaster. It mean I actually know what I'm doing. Hold on. But who stands out here? Well, let me start because I know y'all want to tiptoe around stuff. Let me start. I see 2, 3, 4, 5 people all from the same school called UConn, right? So it's kind of like a given that if you kind of go to UConn, there's a good chance you can make Olympic team. You say what on that? Nobody's touching it? Okay.
Well, if you want to go, Spoon, you go first.
Hey, listen, first of all, he's a heck of a coach. He's a heck of a coach, and people are going to look at his players because they are well coached. They understand the game. They know the game very well. So, I mean, I don't think for the most part that they just say, we're gonna get all the UConn players. I don't believe they do that, but they do pick the ones who they believe are what is fitting for what our USA Olympic team needs.
Penny, your thoughts?
My thought is, and one thing you could say, like Spoon say, Gino's a good coach, and I want to tell you that, I mean, it's no secret. The majority of the players that come out of Connecticut are straight ballers. And the reason I say that, they follow their winning history, even from winning in college. They might have the most players at the WNBA who has championships too, if somebody were to look that up.
Good point.
If you look at Diana,
Good point.
you look at Brianna now. I mean, Maya Moore got 4 titles by herself. Brianna has what, 2? Sue has what, 3, 4? I think Sue has all 4. I mean, you just look at their pedigree. They have a legitimate pedigree. I think that, you know, people can state the argument that they have 5 players, and I get it. Sometimes you'd be like, oh, you can't take everybody from the same school. But the flip side of that is this, though. So just because I went to Connecticut and there are 4 other people, I shouldn't make the team if I'm legit.
Right.
I mean,
and it's different years.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's why I say it's a catch-22 where, yeah, of course the public, but us being on here and being professionals and us knowing this, we know that those players are legit.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And like I say, they don't just win college championships. You got a lot of players who win college championships and they get up here and they don't get it. They don't get it. Gino can literally say, if you were to look at his roster, the majority of his players are also WNBA champions. I think the one out of that elite group right there that's still fighting for one, the last, you know, obviously Nafisha's new. She'll probably get one eventually playing with Cheryl. You know, Cheryl Reed's got that winning pedigree. But it's Tina Charles. But Tina Charles still not been MVP. Been big dance. So, you know, they're ballers. They straight ballers.
Yeah.
I'm most impressed. At 40, I needed a nap. At 40, super killing it. Still killing it. I don't even want to talk about how long 40 was, right, ago. But I look at this, and no matter what, you know, you can make the argument of like, it's always UConn. There's easily a half dozen other UConn players that could have made this, right? But some of the argument has been just about players that didn't, you know. But you got Elena Deladon, she's hurt. Then people go, well, Taurasi's hurt. You know, how did that happen? So there's a lot of arguments. What kind of, you've played Teaspoon, you've been an Olympian. Your thoughts on what goes into who gets picked, how they get picked, anything that can help educate us so that maybe we can silence some of the arguments.
It was a tad bit different when I played. We were actually having to play on certain teams summers before. You know, you had to give your time summers before to be able to have that opportunity to play. And then once you made the Olympic team, the first one, when you make that first one, your opportunities were greater the second one. So it was a little bit different approach when I was playing, when I was really searching to try to be an Olympian. It's a little bit different. But as you can see, and I think this is something that Penny and I spoke about, was the versatility on this on the roster. It's a great deal of flexibility on this roster. You see players who can play different positions. And this is what the game is going to, is being positionless. The game is almost to that point. So every country is building their roster to beat us. They're coming after the best. So what must we do? We must evolve in a different way so we can always have that edge on the other countries. And we do, because we have such amazing athletes who are so versatile, because the game now is on the outside, 3-point shooting, getting down to the painted area and finding and kicking and drawing and spraying. But we're able to do that because of the athletes that we have, and we have a pretty versatile roster for our Olympic team.
Yeah, we could literally, America has so much talent that we literally could send 3 teams and go win the gold, silver, and the bronze.
Big time.
But like Spoon say, we have to have versatile players make this team, because other teams are preparing to beat us. I mean, and yeah, some people probably get mad when I say this next line, but I'm going to say it. I pray to God that I never see that a women's team doesn't make it to the Olympics, or let's just talk about the 3-on-3.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way they shouldn't be an American representation there, but it is, because the foreign men players have been over here for decades now.
Yeah.
They don't figure it out. Like you said, they don't know how to emulate us. They don't learn how to beat us, because that was shocking when the men's 3-on-3 lost, but yet the women's team won and went on. That right there should continue to show America that women's sports are valuable. We holding it up. You know what I'm saying? We holding it down and we holding it up. You know, and I pray that we never losing Olympics, and when you're speaking about history, let's just throw it out there. There's only been one African-American coach to ever coach an Olympic team, and that was John Thompson. And unfortunately, he lost. Dawn will be the first African-American female to coach an Olympic team. So it's a lot riding on the line. And, I know a lot of people are out there upset because they think certain people should have made the team and certain people didn't. I think people have to understand that, to be honest with you, the coach doesn't have a vote. The coach has an opinion. Yeah, the coach has an
committee.
Yeah. The coach has an opinion, but I'm gonna tell you, I done been on 3 committees, including this committee right here. When I was in the league, to pick that core unit. The coach has an opinion, but it still comes back to the committee to pick the team. So I know it's a lot out there, but I'm telling you something. You have a lot of players that could have made this team.
Right. This is what I hope. Because I know that there's a lot of pain because this is valuable. This is precious to be a part of an Olympic team. It is precious. And I know that there's a lot of pain of not making that team because this is a dream for a lot of people. And when you don't make it, this is what I hope. I hope that it doesn't define everything about you as a player. Because of the greatness of all the players in America, because of that, it makes it really, really difficult. It makes it tremendously difficult because we mentioned Della Don being hurt. If she wasn't hurt, then where we'll be, where we would be. What would be the question then? What would be, why this one didn't make it? She made it. That would be a lot more questions then.
Oh yeah.
A lot more. Here we are really going at it again.
Angel McCarthy. Throw her in there. She was helping.
Yeah, Angel McCarthy. Yeah.
It's just my way of just hoping that it doesn't make them feel like this defines me, that I didn't make it. It still doesn't say that you're not great. It doesn't mean that you're not great at what you do. It just means that whoever they picked that was their choice. So I don't want them to allow that to define who they are, and know that they are still great at what they do, and their mission, whatever that might be, whatever they're driven in, it still can be accomplished.
Yeah. And I take my hat off to Skylar Diggins, that a lot of people don't know. And I know this because, like I told you, I've had the luxury now of being a part of 2 gold medals, being on the committee for 2 gold medals. And even when this one you're gonna see it in my resume because I spent years on this committee too. Skylar Diggins is a perfect example of what Spoon was saying. It shouldn't define your career. Skylar done been there trying to make every team. And sometimes Skylar got taken to play with teams and still didn't make the Olympic team. But like I said last week about your mindset and your attitude, she kept a good attitude. And even when the odds are against her, I'm gonna tell you right now, we'd be like, when we need a replacement, Skylar, let's go get Skylar. She always said yes. And look at her now. She's about to be a 2020/21 Olympian. So you got to hang in there, and you got to, like Spoon say, not get a bad taste in your mouth, and go after your dream.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, you can always do like Candace Parker did in 2016 when they screwed her over. Go win a WNBA championship.
Allow it to motivate you. How does it motivate
you? WNBA championship to really shut up everybody. I mean, that's how you make people shut up right there.
How does it motivate you? What does it make you want more of? What does it do? What does it do? You're either going to fall or you're going to rise. It's no in between. You're going to fall or you're going to rise. And my hope and desire is that they rise, because in my eyes, those that didn't make it and probably had an opportunity to make it, you're still just as great. You're still just as great. That's what you have to believe. You have to believe that. You don't let nothing change that thought process.
Penny, you were saying that the Olympic team is actually going to play the WNBA All-Stars, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what is going to happen for the All-Star team. It's going to be interesting too, because now when these fans are picking the All-Stars, some of the All-Stars that will pick, Sue, Diana, Griner, all these people, you can't pick them because they're already on the Olympic team. You can't pick Liz. Liz is already on the Olympic team. You're going to have to, I'm excited about it because now you got to pick a different cast of people. And it's going to be a nice run if the people show up for the All-Star game. Like like Onassis, Sabrina, who I think will have an awesome opportunity to probably make the next Olympics. She's having a great year in New York, you know. If CP shows up, I mean, NECA will probably be a hard no for them, but if NECA was there, Tierra McCowan, like we got Enrique, you got some great players.
Yeah.
That didn't go, that would make a great opponent against the Olympic team. Now, wouldn't that be something that the All-Stars, you know, especially if you got
I just was going to say it.
When your All-Stars come up in there, and remember now, DeWanna Bond is still out there, you know what I'm saying? DeWanna's a handful for everybody. So can you imagine if it was me, if you, like Spoon say, if you really want to show it motivates you, if you get picked for that All-Star team, show up and just go beat the Olympic team. That's how you do it right there.
It's just that simple. You're going to definitely make a name for yourself, but it'll be hard because it's been pure dominance. The U.S. women's basketball team for the Olympics, 66-3 since 1976 and 48-0 since 1996. All gold. One bronze medal in 1992, gold in 1984 as well. So, and ever since, just gold. So it's going to be tough. And definitely Dawn Staley, tip my hat off to her. She's got a lot to live up to, but I think she's going to pull it off. This has been a great discussion. We're going to talk a little more about the business of basketball. On the flip side, we'll talk some hoops too. Take a look at who's on top, who's hot, who's not, and who's your sleeper. Coming up in just a little bit. For all of you that are watching on Facebook, YouTube, definitely appreciate you out there. See your comments. Sue Wicks is giving you a shout out. Teaspoon again. Angela's asking, do you ever age? You didn't ask me, do I ever age? Angela, whoever, whatever.
I just got a little water, that's all.
Oh, okay. Well, let me drink some more water. Got mine right here. We'll be right.
In today's busy, fast-paced world, you need hydration that can go the distance with you. Face it, most sports drinks are more like soda. Many contain tons of sugar, artificial flavoring, artificial colors, and artificial ingredients, sometimes leaving you feeling sluggish, nauseous, and bloated. Well, there's a new sports drink in town, and she's got game. Introducing Electra, supernatural hydration for everyday doers, hustlers, and athletes.
All right, and I'm back on. And Spoon's back on. That's what happens when your producer calls you in the middle of the show and you don't know how to multitask. Anyway, the show is not over. I know you saw the credits, but you are watching Certified Unscripted. With us today and always is Penny Toler, Teresa Weatherspoon, also missing in action because she's big time in us. She's got some good production going on.
Yes.
The Olympian Ruthie Bolton. So
Ruthie.
Right, with the guns. I've been working on my guns. I had to push mine up like this. I had to push the up in order to get guns like Ruthie. So hopefully she's going to join us in just a little bit. But we wanted to talk about, games coming up. I have my games listed. Who's on this week? We got right now, actually, Dallas Wings. I need my son to give me that report. Son, give me the report. What's the score? Dallas Wings playing Connecticut right now. Also Chicago Sky and New York Liberty in action. Coming up 10 p.m. The late game is Washington Mystics at Seattle Storm. And then Wednesday, tomorrow, we got the Minnesota Lynx are taking on the Atlanta Dream. Anybody standing out to you? Any teams, any players? Who's on your mind right now, Teaspoon?
I tell you, one player that's standing out to me that I really enjoyed watching her play this past week was Kelsey Plum.
Oh, I love Kelsey.
She comes off the bench and she's really accepted her role. It's the way she's playing the game. She's finding her shots, knocking down open shots, finding people, executing the offensive sets, getting everybody involved. I've really liked how she's come off the bench and really embraced her role, really kind of propelled the Aces over top some pretty big teams the past two games that I've watched. She's done a heck of a job of really embracing that role and coming through for the Aces.
I spoke to Chelsea this week. It was so funny because Chelsea called me in the morning, had a special relationship with Chelsea Gray. And when she called me, she said, she calls me by my real name, Virginia. She's like, Virginia, why am I calling? I say, I was waiting for you to wake up because all my players know I'm up early because I wanted to call. I said, call it, congratulate you. She said, you see it? I said, yeah, congratulations, Miss Olympian. But back to the point of Kelsey Plum. I had told someone earlier that I knew Plum was going to have a major year this year because, you know, with Chelsea being down there to take on that leadership role and to handle the ball a lot more, because Plum can play the one, but she's more of a scoring one too. That she'll have someone that she doesn't have to just focus on getting everybody to, pass here or think about that, where now she can really just go into what she used to do best, like shoot. You know, she still can pass, but I think her and Chelsea, they play very, very well together. I think she will learn from Chelsea Gray, who's been there and see the game from a different perspective. And I'm not surprised at all, and come down to the end, she's going to be a handful.
Right. And it's the pace that Plum plays with. It's the pace.
Yeah.
And it's a level of confidence that she plays with. Any shot she takes, the way she takes it, and then the rhythm she takes it with, it looks like every time she takes it, I'm like, this thing is going to go in. But when we talk about Chelsea Gray, I remember watching her when she played with Connecticut, when she was with the Suns.
Yeah.
I remember, as one of my teams that I had to do the scout report. And I would tell them, I said, hey, this kid right here, when she gets that knee healthy, she's going to be special. I'm like, hey, Liberty, if there's any way we can snatch this kid, we need to snatch her up and get her quick. Look what she does. Vision is unreal. Her vision is unreal. Her passing ability is unreal. You got to have your hands ready every time that ball is in her hands because she's looking to get you involved. But then when she inserts herself, when she injects herself into the offense, it's hard to beat the Aces. I'm telling you, it's hard to beat them. This kid has a flow about her that I love to watch. The showtime, to give you that. She can keep it simple. She can give you that. She can knock down open threes. She can put the ball on the floor. She can get to the rim. She can do all of that stuff that keeps them in a great flow, a great rhythm as a team.
And she's an amazing person. That's what I'm going to tell you. It's like what I posted on my Instagram page today. It was an honor coaching her because anything you ask her to do or to step up or do, I mean, Chelsea is just like a dream to work with. And I'm not just saying that because she wasn't. I'd be like, but she was literally a dream to work with. I had somebody, and people don't understand that you have to get the chemistry right when you're trying to win a championship. And I think the Vegas Aces have it now. They got good chemistry. Everybody knows their role, and they got a great coach and Bill. It's going to be tough to beat them this year.
Right. I have to agree. When you talk about the chemistry, I think they're bigs. Wilson and Ken Beige have learned how to play together.
Yes.
Learn how to give them that space because they can put the ball on the floor and get to the rim. She can do all of that, the nice little high-low actions that they have. Bill is a heck of a coach, so he knows how to bring that gift of each player together and have them to play as one.
Mm-hmm.
Ruthie, the mighty Ruthie, is joining us. Ruthie, we were just talking about you telling you big timing us. You big timing us. Well, I'll get to the show when I got other things to do. Welcome to the show.
No, I'm not. I'm not big. Thank you. I'm not big timing y'all. I'm just, just trying to. Hey, celebrating this, I guess the 25th year of the 1996 Olympic, it making me feeling old. That's what it is, 25 years ago. So I had my little segment. Today. Well, having it, I'm headed to another spot. So but it's a blessing. It's a great thing. It's like this is laying the foundation, a legacy for women that are playing now. We talk about all this.
We lost her.
We lost her.
One of the problems when mobile technology is not all it's cracked up to be. I don't want to care what anybody says, but you make a lot of really, really good points about players that are currently playing right now. When you were talking about you were talking about Chelsea Gray out of Duke, right?
Yeah.
For Las Vegas, right?
Absolutely.
Just for people that are watching.
Yeah.
There was another piece of news. I did get a question also about Coach leaving Baylor, going to LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody up on that? Anybody paying attention? Oh, here's Ruthie joining us again. Sorry, I'm going to bring Ruthie back in real quick. Ruthie, welcome.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Ruthie, you still with us? She's got multiple voices going on in the background.
Can y'all hear me?
All right, so yeah, we can hear you. And we can also hear your radio. Were you listening to talk radio?
Okay. Okay.
All right. What you listening to?
No.
All right. No, but you were making a point about you were getting
that was
prepared
somebody
in
else.
25 years. No, you can continue about the 25 years you got cut off.
I think, what. Yeah, you know what? The thing about it, the legacy, laying the foundation for, and we really didn't the 96 Olympic team, we laid the foundation for the next generation. And trust me, these young girls, we passed it, we torched them, and they've taken off with it. So much amazing talent and just a beautiful, to me, it feels good to be a part of something that keep growing, something that take wings and fly. So we changed the culture of women basketball, and now, it's a beautiful thing. And so I'm thankful to have been a legacy. Even though I'm considered antique and older, I feel it's still an honor to have laid the foundation. You just about who said antique? I am antique, but I'm like an antique up on a shelf. Antique,
antique
nice
is good.
At, whatever, but no. Yeah,
it's like a fine wine. It's like a fine wine. It's good. It's good. It's all still good. Teaspoon, one of the other things that I'm going to throw out there, and now that Ruthie's on, I'm going to just kind of bypass you, and I'm going to talk about you, even though you're sitting here in the room. I'm just going to talk about you. But Penny, did you hear that there's a chance that one of our very own antiques might get polished off to get a head coaching job in the NBA? I had heard that was a possibility. Think somebody was thinking about her. What did you
Well,
hear?
I did hear that from a little birdie. And I do believe that is awesome. And I want to take the antique away with vintage. We're going to say vintage.
Vintage.
With vintage, like fine wine. With vintage. I am super, super happy. I wish Spoon was in the room, but she's not in the room.
No.
I got to take my hat off to the Pelicans and all the other teams out there that is considering, Spoon as well as Dawn and Becky for a head coaching job. What people don't know is, like I said on the last podcast, Spoon don't already coach men. And women, we're great students of the game. We're very fundamentally sound. And one thing about Spoon is fundamentally sound. Like I say, one of the only players that I've known, probably her and Tisha Pinachero, that can win a game without shooting, without making a basket. A great teacher, and have a passion for the game. All those things equal a great coach. It ain't got nothing to do with her being a female or male. I'm hoping that they recognize that in her, because I'm gonna tell you right now, hiring Spoon, you can't go wrong. Like she say, she's already in everybody's house. So now we just got to get her on one of those NBA benches.
There it is. Ruthie, you hear that? Did you hear that rumor? Any thoughts about possibly a Becky Hammon, possibly Teaspoon, possibly Dawn Staley, a woman, period, becoming a head coach in the WNBA? Is it time?
The NBA? Oh, yeah, for sure.
In the NBA?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. No, I think to me, it's a time, with what has happened in the president, just with so many, I know we won it years ago, but the timing is better now, and what amazing candidates, and not just because they're women, they are qualified. We're not just want a woman up there. No, they are qualified. They got it. Okay, they got it, and the influence and the ability to teach the game, and really leadership is huge, obviously, in the NBA. Being able to have players to follow you and lead you, and you've been there and done that, and so I'm in awe to even know that I even know all these candidates, and to me, I'm just beyond thankful. And you talking about what an awesome man, Spoon. I tell you, you have something that is don't show up on the stat sheet too much. Okay, you got something that is priceless, something that is tenacious, and that enthusiasm, that just that whole thing that you have. You can't even get that in law school. You can't get in a doctor's school. You get it through life school. And I appreciate that, and I applaud you, and I'm excited about it. So yeah, hey, this is going to be big, and don't just dream, but dream big. Cause this is your time. This is your season. I'm trying to find my spoon. Where my spoon? I usually have one in the car.
You better have that spoon somewhere
in your kitchen. Oh boy. Well, I know we can't, I know you can't speak on these things, so I'm glad we were able to talk about Teaspoon when she was not in the room. You're watching Certified Unscripted, and we've still got a whole lot more for you. One of the angles, I'm getting a ton of questions. We've got to prep for next shows because I'm getting some good stuff. Thank you for all of the people that are out there asking questions. We promise if we don't get to it this time, we're going to put it on a show for the next time around. But one of the questions that we had from the past that we want to talk about is, what's the hardest part? Like, everyone just sees the sport. They see the, the cross up, they see the jumper, they see, the sweat and maybe some of the tears, but they don't know the real tears. What is the hardest part about the business of basketball? Because at the end of the day, WNBA, NBA, it's all corporate, it's all business. And while the athletes are just doing their job, playing their role, it can be very, very challenging behind the scenes. What are some of the things that people out there may not know happens in the business of basketball that makes this a challenging game?
A lot of people have to understand that, and it's still a business, and we're still growing this sport. It's about, we got to sell tickets. The more, excuse my language is saying, butts and seats, the more the salaries can go up. You have to sell tickets. And I used to always tell the players to respect everyone on staff because, a practice for a player could be 2 hours. And if they're playing there every day, it's probably 1 hour. But the people in the office, I'm going to tell you, some days they're working 10 hours to put the show on, the dancers around the show, to sell the sponsorships, to keep the team afloat. You have the marketing people trying to market it. Then you have community relations. You have community relations that have to go out there. It's a whole nother host of people that without these people, there is no show for the players. That's why I always tell everybody when they're looking at the WNBA, everybody won't make it as a player, but there's a whole nother entity on the business side, marketing, sponsorship, community relations, public relations, to get us out there, make sure people that we're known, that you could be a huge part of continuing to keep this WNBA afloat and making us relevant going into the future. So it's a big business, and that's what people don't understand. And my last thought on that is, that's why when college kids used to say, hey, I want to come to the game, I said, that's awesome that you want to come to the game. But now I'm just talking strictly basketball again. But I want to invite you to practice. I want to show you how hard these people work. Because when you get to the game, that's the show, and everybody thinks that. And that's why very few people make it, in the WNBA. It's hard to make the WNBA. And that is the biggest thing about the business. It's tough to make this league.
Yeah, that's good information. Spoon, what about you?
What Penny was saying, because as a player, this was a decision that I made as a player, was to ask if I could go in and see what our sales team and marketing team would do. I wanted to see as a player, because I wanted to understand just how important we as the product are to them selling the excitement, the arena, what we bring. I even had a chance to get on phones with season ticket holders or partial ticket holders. I had an opportunity to do that because I wanted to know their role, because their role is just as valuable and important as what we're doing. It's very important that we understand each other's role and the success that comes within the organization. So I took time out to go and get on the phone to do what they do, and really feel sometimes the disappointments that happen, the disappointments that would happen with them on the phone of not getting a season ticket holder, or the voices that would come back to them on the phone. I wanted to know exactly what they did, so I understood their process. And then at the same time, I was able to have sit down with them for them to understand our process as players. Because like Penny said, the most important thing is to come and watch the dang practice. That's where the blood, sweat, and tears are. That's where the hard work is. That's where you'll say, okay, this is how things are done. When we step on the floor to go play the opponent, that's when our fun begins. We're about to have fun now. We're about to go at you because we just got killed in practice. So now we want to take it out on the opponent. So it's valuable that other people, especially our young people, gets to see practice. What it all entails. What is hard work? So we don't just go out and play and it just happens. There's work that's involved. So all those things that even players need to understand, what the sales team and marketing team that they do. You need to understand that, because it's important to understand what you are and who you are as the product.
Yeah. Ruthie, what was tough? Toughest part of the business of basketball for you? You were an Olympian, you know, you've been on all stages as well. What was the hardest part?
But you know, when we played with the national team, the Olympic team, we signed a contract, and I could see why they had us to sign that contract, because not only did we have practice there sometimes twice a day. She said, well, in between our two practices, we got to sign 500. We got to sign 500 posters for our sponsors and these, schools. Or we got to sign this. And we got to go have a luncheon with the people that gave money over here. And so we were constantly doing stuff. And she said, it's the business of it. She said they are the one that paying the bill. They're the one that's sponsoring us, and that's why they gave us a contract to commit to that. Because had we not, how are you going to be able to run the thing? So yeah, it's a huge part of basketball is those sponsorship and making sure those people are happy. And some of the players, like I said, we have to have appearances, and the women we've had to do it more, because obviously we don't make the money the guys make or whatever. But still, it's just we are more vulnerable, and we're more like, I don't know, gullible, I would say. We sort of just have to do it. But the thing about it, I think once you understand it goes with the territory, you just gotta, like I said, like you gotta feel the seats in. And so there was an article, a magazine, y'all might have seen it. Yeah. It was Sue Bird, the girl, the young lady played.
We lost her again.
Well, she gives some good points.
Oh, shoot. All right. She's gone for good. She's frozen. But we want to continue that thought process, though, just about the business. One of the things we had talked about earlier on, too, was, and I'll see if we can get Ruthie back into the stream. But one of the things we talked about earlier on, too, was just the historical, since we began the show talking about history, let's kind of start wrapping towards it as well. The historical disconnect that has happened, or that you all feel has happened early on, particularly in the WNBA. And believe it or not, this happens with a lot of colleges, that they lose touch with their alumni, the very people that built. I know even for my own college, like, was a big issue, right? There's sometimes that there's just this disconnect, and you don't have that alumni base or that support anymore. Talk about that a little bit, Penny, and what you see has happened, and what the good, the bad, and the ugly of it.
Well, as this league continue to go on, and I always say, everything's going to evolve, but to evolve the right way, you still have to know the history of the game. I feel that this league has had a lot of pressure to keep the league going, to stay active, that the disconnect came in, that, you forgot about the players that helped pioneer this league, and these players now are still pioneering this league. Like, when you have rookie orientation and you're teaching them how to deal with, the public, or not tweeting your location and all these things. I think veteran players, you need to keep former players engaged and have these people come talk to the rookies. Because I'm going to tell you something right now, it's one thing somebody talking the talk and never did the walk the walk. And you got a lot of veteran players that done talk the talk and done walk the walk, and they got a lot of valuable information that they can share playing on these teams, that, to be honest with you, sometime in the office, you just coming down and you reading from a script. Now, I will give the league credit that it's done an awesome job in this new collective bargaining agreement by allowing a third assistant coach. But in order to have that third assistant coach, it has to be a former player. So I was really, really happy about that, because now you can keep our players engaged. I take my hat off to, Mark Davis, the new owner of the Las Vegas Aces.
That's right.
I've never seen an owner come in this league, and it was nice to see an owner come in and not just embrace the team that he bought, but he embraced the whole history of the Las Vegas Aces, where people didn't know it was Utah to San Antonio, now to Vegas. And I can appreciate that, because it shows that he respects, not only he respects the game, he loves women, because he reached back and the thing I really love, that he just didn't go get all the stars. He wouldn't anybody that played.
Yeah.
Anybody to play. I found myself, and I've been in the league almost his whole existence. Who was that? He went back and invited anybody that played and brought them along, as well as hire Afro-American as a president, and Nikki Fargas.
Yeah.
You know, so I think he gets it. You have to know the history in order to evolve. And I think that the league is moving in the right direction, but we got to keep moving. You got to bring former players in here. Yeah. They have paid their dues, and they should have an opportunity to continue to build this league.
Spoon, any thoughts?
I have to agree. The connect is always important. You had fans that connected with us. You had fans that connected with the Pioneers. And when you bring them back, that brings your fan base back that you might have lost. It brings us back. And then you're able to connect with the players and tell them the history of the team you play for. You can tell them that history and where you would expect for it to go, because this is what you were laying down. And as you were laying brick down, you're hoping that they're laying that same brick or another brick for the next one to come. You want them to understand that. And the connection is so valuable so they can be connected to us. We want to be connected. We want to help try to lead God in direct. We want to do that the best way that we possibly can, because this lead to us, it freaking matters. It matters. We gave blood, sweat, and tears to this for it to last. So we want to stay connected. We want to stay connected to all players, not just the team in which we play for. We want to stay connected to the league, stay connected to the league and the growth of it. So we can stay connected. I'm telling you, many things can happen because we can help these young women grow.
And there's somebody, even this is real quick, even on the business side, you need to start hiring former players. Because I'm gonna tell you something, you know, the Sparks had, I don't know, 5 different owners or whatever. You know, I've been with most of them. And I remember we had someone in the business, you know, who said, hey, let's take the teal out of the uniform. I don't like the teal. And I said, well, we can't take the teal out of the uniform, even though they did it. I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't happy because you did that because you wanted like a black logo at the time or what it was. But you didn't understand the history of the Sparks. That's the teal was there to differentiate us from the Lakers, even though the Lakers owned the Sparks for 10 years. That little bit of teal is a part of what the original Sparks were. If you look at it's not, now they got them back on the jersey, the outline on the teal on the Sparks jersey, but there was teal here. There was a significance of that teal. It ain't about if you like it or don't like it. It's the history. But you wouldn't know that if I wasn't in the front office or another former player was there talking about connecting even the business to the thing. You have to have former players sit in some of these seats.
There was someone on here, Spoon, that said Spoon even visited security posts and concession workers to see what they did and say thanks. Came from Trisha. You was over there trying to get some popcorn. I know what was really happening.
I did. You know what it was, Vera? Is I wanted everybody to know that you are a part of our success.
Yeah.
I wanted them to know that. I wanted to be a part of everything they did. And I do recall that when they did honor me at the end of my career, that I tried to make sure that I acknowledged every one of them, because everybody's important. Everybody's job is valuable. I can't do my job without you. So I want them to know that this is unreal what you do for us, and we appreciate it. So yeah, I was in there. I was popping popcorn with them, drinking the sodas with them. I was right there with them because I want. No, actually, I'm no different from you. I go do my job. You go do your job, and guess what we can accomplish together? That's it. That's
I love it.
To know. Why am I so different? Because I play, but I need you to help me to be out here too. I need that. So that was my whole purpose. That's my whole purpose. And like Kenny said, you have to understand those little things about the uniform that made you different. Those little pieces that are on that uniform, it made you different. So that means carry that piece of history as you continue to move in this league. Carry that piece of history knowing that somebody before you fought for you to have that position, just like with us. Yeah. Even though we pioneered the WNBA, there were plenty before us that helped us to be where we are. Plenty. And there's way many women who played this game before us. They were go-getters. They were go-getters. And we appreciate them. So we took them into the league and carried it. So what we tried to leave in the league, take it and carry it. Don't allow it to be removed.
Well, we always end on a motivational message, and you got me pumped up. Honestly, I'm great. Go get some popcorn. We just brought on Rita. Rita Haywood, the Russell Simmons of Certified Unscripted. Hey. Rita is our executive producer of this show. And for those of you that are on, I want to give a huge shout out because we already have a loyal fan base in Carl and Angela, Anita Skipper. I see you, Michael Horsey, my man. Thank you for being on. Just a ton of people, Trisha and Scott and Carl and all these people that are out there. Ted Davis, thank you for always being a supporter. We already have a loyal fan base, and I know that that's important because when this show blows up and goes to somebody's network, we'll still remember you.
That's right.
As T said, so I wanted to make sure I ended on that note. Penny, a final thought. Rita, a final thought. We're out. I got to keep this show moving.
My final thought is, hey, let's just stay the course, perseverance. I'm happy that the league is here for 25 more years. And for all you haters out there that be wanting us to go away, we're going to be here for another 25. We're going to double down on that, another 100. And we're going to be here. I look forward to the day I'm sitting on my porch and I say, man, hey, look at this league.
Win. In the rocking chair.
I'm going to be able to get my little hand up and go.
Yes, sir.
I hit the very first jumper in the WC. Right baseline corner, you should have seen me.
Rita.
Hey, I love the conversation this evening, and we have to continue to put skin back in the game, whether you're a fan, a former player. You know, if you're a fan, go out and buy the merchandise from the teams. Get tickets. Don't just watch it on television, but get out there and fully support it financially. Like I said, we have to put skin back in the game overall. So, you know, I appreciate y'all. Always a great show.
All right. We'll be back next week real quick. Make sure you remember, you can always go to the website, www.certifiedunscripted.com. Got to know how to spell, though. There it is. We got it on our shirt, Certified Unscripted. And next week, even though we are a Tuesday broadcast, someone messed up the plan and has to be on a plane next Tuesday. Not going to say what that is.
We won't tell.
We won't tell, Vera.
So please join us next Wednesday. But from there on, we're here every Tuesday night. You get it raw, you get it real, and you get it with a lot of respect. Be sure that you put a lot of respect on these names. Teresa Weatherspoon, Penny Toler, Ruthie Bolton, who's in and out tonight, and our executive producer, Rita Haywood. I'm your host, Vera Jones. Thank you so much for joining us. We are indeed, who are we?
Certified Unscripted.
I was supposed to say we're not new to this. We true to this. We are
Certified Unscripted.
We'll have that down. We'll have it all figured out. All right.
We're gonna get this. We're gonna get this thing. We're gonna get it.
Yeah. We'll have Ruthie sing it.